So I finished Cyberpunk yesterday, and I'm really impressed. So I finished it before, and then I finished Phantom Liberty, and I cleaned up some stuff. That should be clear. 90 hours. 90 hours, good. I'm done. So for me, the highs have to be that there were characters. How many characters I could tell you about individually that I had individual feelings and thoughts about, that I would surprise me that stuck with me. It's kind of like spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. The when you're ending the kind of the Dogtown missions, and you got to get rid of somebody, or you don't, somebody else does, and it surprises you. It surprised me as well because I'm like, oh, I like these people. I don't want to see them go. But they did, and it kind of bummed me out because I like their characters, and a lot of that was like I like their characters, or the choices I was made, that I felt there's a lot of choices that you make in this game that you're like, oh, that's gonna bite me in the ass, but I'm still gonna do it. So like I didn't drink anywhere, and if anybody was ever around after something that I thought they might talk, I killed them. I shot a lot of people, In fact, Mr. Hands at one point it's like, hey, gotta leave some customers. So that was good that I got that. But maybe not. I don't know. But I tried to also I would never do it for money because I had so much money. Who needs some money? I had $4 million or whatever, Eddie's. But yeah, it really surprised me this is the first game in a long time that had so many characters that I cared about in different ways. So like, for me, I really like the Panem character. And at one point she put her shoes on me and asked if I wanted rubber feet. And I said, no, we're not that kind of friends. But that's how I ended the game, with her bit. Which I tend to think that my betrayal of certain people and choosing to do that is a less tested route. Because, man, that was the one part it got buggy again at the end, which kind of sucks. Because at one point I just had to wait around for like 10 minutes for some characters to appear so that I could shoot them because I was missing 2 to kill, but they wouldn't appear. You know what I could do? Just hung out. Like there's some of that, but that's fine. It's such a, man, there's so many different ways you could go that are impactful and big. But then the one thing that kind of did bum me out, I'm going to admit, at the end, so I do all of that. We do this whole big crazy thing. I come out, am I alive, am I not? And we have this beautiful, like, looking at the city and everything. And I'm like, we're ending it. We're going off right into the sunset here. And instead, there's like a whole other mission after that really wasn't needed. And then you go right off into the sunset again. But I'm with Panem, so I'm thumbs up on that. Like, we're being cool. We're hanging out. But yeah, I really like. It was also weird. At the end, towards the end of that mission, they hand you a sniper rifle, and it's like a level 1 sniper rifle. But I'm like, I don't know, I've never used this one before. And I'm like, I bet you it's super powerful. They give it to me at the end of the game, and instead it's a level 1. I'm like, I dumped this. Get my regular one in there. I really like the mix of weapons. I really like the mix of play styles. I really like that how often there were a bunch of different ways to do things. But for me, as a player, I don't go back then and do it a different way. I'm like, yeah, no, I did it this way, and this went horrible and wrong, and often ends up me shooting everybody. Yeah, Mr. Hands had that one. You didn't have to be so brutal. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I really liked it. I actually, like, normally in a story, and again, I'm going to say, I played Tom Clancy Wildlands, and we got to the end of it, and I realized that there were Mexicans in Bolivia, not Bolivian people in Bolivia that I was fighting for the most part. And I was like, what? But here, I totally knew what was going on. I totally knew the factions. I totally knew what was going on, the trouble I caused, the trouble that my personal choices were going to cause. Like, all that was really, really well done. Damn, that's a big game. I guess that's a lot of game. Like, I will never make a game like that. I was thinking about that. Like, how do you think about that as someone who develops a game? I will never make a game like that, right? Because I don't want to go work at a big company like that again. And you need a big company to make something like that. Like, I can make one sliver. I can make one storyline. I can make like one tiny little sliver of a DLC. Probably. Maybe. And it won't be as good and won't have as many weapons. I really like all the guns and all the ways you can add on to them. The houses I never figured out as being anything meaningful. I know a lot of people said if they role play, they slept in there. I slept in once by accident. But other than that, I never used my houses or anything. cars and stuff. I like the motorcycles, but I knew a way to get a car every time was to shoot a cop in the head. And that made me laugh every time. That was my Uber. My character was not a nice person, but they were. They never did anything for money. You have your morals, I'll have mine. But yeah, just, I know I'm like 10 years late to this, and nobody cares anymore. But damn, that was good. That was good. Like, I don't even want to go back and play the little side missions and stuff that I didn't do because those feel empty now that I don't have the big thing. And I had the big thing hanging over me and I knew I was going to do, and I didn't know I'd be able to do a betrayal and instead go hang out with Pam, which is what it's like, man, how do I work her back in? And then they worked her back in. So it's like, you know how like sometimes other people who maybe that wasn't their favorite character and they wanted somebody else probably wouldn't have that feeling. Keanu's good in it. I will say this, when you record characters, always record them less excited. Because every so often there's a really excited line. Keanu knew this, and he never does this. But some of the smaller characters will like over-emote, and you're like, yeah, the battle's over. Shh, cool, be cool. But for the most part, man, I can't. There's so much recording. There's so much dialogue in here. I'm being super picky. I do not mean it. I just like the sound when you aim your weapon. Like, there's just so much good stuff. So much good stuff. And I feel like, yeah, I didn't get through all of it. But if I went and played it again, I would want to play it again the same way. And so then I'm probably not going to go back and play it. And I wish there was something else I could jump in and play like that. And I know there's other, but they're not. And I don't like fantasy stuff. I mean, all right, this is fantasy, but like fantasy, like orcs and stuff. I do, right? Like I do, but I don't. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed. It's over. So for the people who suggested it, thank you very much. People also suggested Red Dead Redemption 2, which I didn't play this when it first came out because I started playing this and I had so many bugs that I had to stop because I could not. People, I know, someone's going to tell me no one ever had it where they couldn't go on. I did. I couldn't go on. So this is good to come back to. In Red Dead Redemption 2, I just don't like the lack of agency in there. And it's a different kind of thing. I don't think about that. I also was thinking about how much I played this game in the world versus the mini-map versus fast travel. I rarely fast traveled. And boy, the mini-maps, that's a struggle to figure out pathing there. So good job on that. But yeah. So again, thank you. Thank you for anyone who suggested this game, and some people so highly suggested it that I did go back to it. Because a lot of times I don't go back to games if I have a really bad experience at first, and I did. The bug I had when I first started playing it back in the day when it first came out, I haven't seen anyone else have this, was my car would just like start falling apart and explode. I couldn't drive any car anywhere. It just fell apart. I don't know. But this was relatively bug-free. And so much bug-free, I'm not even going to care. Yeah. Just kind of down a little bit. So the other thing I've been holding off is Severance Season 2. Haven't started watching that yet. Maybe I'll watch that now as my escape from everything.